What up and welcome to the coffee shop, everybody. This is your host and barista, and it is an exciting day today. Why? Because today is May 4th, and dun, 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 may the 4th be with you. Yes, I had to do it. Now, let's get into this video, okay? First of all, I'm going to just be clear about something. Going forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten my videos by letting you know that I will no longer show you the settings that I'm using in the indicators that are on the chart. Instead, I'll simply put the settings in the description below. So what I want you to do is I want you to go down to the bottom after I tell you the indicators that we're using. Just go down to the description area down there, and I want you to just get the settings for the Thriple, okay? We have on the chart, we have the Thriple, and we have the Heiken Ashi Algo, the beast mode indicator that basically does everything you need it to do. And in today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get better entries on your RSI swings, okay? What we are doing is we are hacking the RSI trend lines. Yes. So as you know, you can put trend lines on your price, right? You got it right there. Across the lows, and you get some across the highs. I got a high here and a high here, and I want to know when I break that high right there, right? And you get trend lines again. Here, you got a low and then a new low right there. Just kind of go right through it, right? I'm just cutting right through the lows. Again, your trend lines are subjective. You get them on the wicks, on the close of the candle, wherever you want. You got to get close. That's it. You don't have to be exact. But then here you have somewhat of what looks like a downtrend, right? It's kind of a downtrend, a little channel. So this is a little overbought. So I'm going to take the next high that I see from here. I'm going to cut through these highs right here. Just going to kind of do that, right? Now, I'm going to show you something real quick, okay? And I'm going to give you a strategy in this video that will actually allow you to trade in ranging markets, okay? I'm doing this on a 5-minute chart. You can do this on a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, okay? So from a 1 minute to a 1 hour, you can use this strategy. Now that we have everything, and now that we've covered all the basic noob questions, yeah, now that we've covered all the basic noob questions, then now we can get into the actual information for the video, right? So what you need is 2 indicators on your chart, okay? Go into your indicators, and I want you to type in 3PL, okay? Type in Thriple, Community Scripts. It's by Coffee Shop Crypto. It is the Thriple MA. Add it to your chart, make it your favorite, and you're good to go. And the settings are in the description. Next thing is the ever popular. I typed in Ashi Algo because if I type in Heiken Ashi, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come up. But if you type in Ashi Algo, you'll just get a couple, and mine is by Coffee Shop Crypto, right? So Heiken Ashi Algo Oscillator by Coffee Shop Crypto. Do me a favor. We're almost at 2,000 boosts. I want to get to 2,000 by the end of the week. So hit that read more button, hit the boost button, and let's pump this little baby up, right? And add it to your chart, add it to your favorites. If it's not on your favorites, then that means you live under a rock. So what is hacking the RSI trend lines? Well, when you draw trend lines on your price, you wait for a candle to break below, right? If it's an uptrend, you wait for a candle to close below that. And at that point, you're basically saying, hey, my uptrend must be over. I have to start looking for short trades, right? Well, I want you to look down. Look at the algo, okay? There are certain settings that I'm using. Again, the settings are in the description. You see these little red and green lines? These are trend lines. The trend lines are being drawn because of the pivots of the RSI, okay? And I'll give you my exact settings for this setup. And I'll give you some variations that you can use on the settings. For example, I'm using a pivot range of 5. You can use a pivot range of 7, of 9, and I really wouldn't go beyond that. I would try and use that unless you want to go really long term, okay? So these little trend lines show up only, okay, when there is a new low, only when the RSI makes a new low. For example, here, the RSI came down, made a low, right? Then it moved up, and it made another low. But it has to be lower than its own previous low. So here's a low and there's a low, right? This one is not lower than this one. So it didn't draw a trend line. And then it came up, made another low, but it's not lower than that one. So it did not draw a trend line. Here's the new low, and then it got another low. This one is lower than that one. So it drew a trend line. The trend line appears here, right? So now you see how it works. Every time there is a low on the RSI, lower than the previous low, it draws a trend line. Same thing here. This low is lower than that one. So it drew another trend line. This trend line is not straight. It's actually got a little angle to it. Okay, you can see that this one goes nice and steep, and this one flattens out a little bit. So that basically tells you right away you are starting to get lower lows, like the change in direction is taking place. You can now see that there's an arc to the RSI and you're losing your momentum upwards. Now that's when you get lows, and the same thing happens for the highs. Okay, same thing happens for the highs. Here's a high, goes down, comes up, makes another high, but it's not higher than that one. Goes down, comes up, not higher, goes down, comes up. This high is higher than this one. So it drew this trend line from this point to this point. Now you have a high. Now you understand why the trend lines are being drawn. And you can play it out in, I'll show you a replay. I'm going to get there in a minute. And you'll see them form automatically right in front of you. All right. So that was the purpose of the recent update to the algo. Now, here we go. If you notice where this candle broke my trend line, look down at the RSI. Okay. Here's the candle that broke the trend line. And the same time that happens, I get a new trend line drawn on my RSI, it appears. This is a confirmation that the RSI has now broken down. Like here's the trend line, right? The RSI has broken through that trend line, just really cut right through it. And every time the RSI cuts through a trend line, your RSI wins. That is the direction that you are trading in, okay? That's the direction. So a lot to say right there, right? No big deal. So you need to have your trend lines on your chart. Always do that. When you see a confirmed break in your RSI trend line that coincides with the trend line break in your price, you have a new trend, okay? You have a new trend. Now I can prove that here, okay? Here you have a high and a higher high, but then you have a lower high, okay? Here's your lower high. Here you have a low, a higher low, and a lower low. So you have a lower low and a lower high. They're lower than the previous two. So this is effectively your new trend right here, starting right there. That is your new trend. And the RSI trend lines are showing you that instantly when it happens. So here's the new trend, but this is where the trend is actually broken, where the momentum actually shifts to the downside. And that shows up when you get an RSI break, the same time you get a trend line break of your price. Okay? So there's that. Now, the question is, okay, Coffee Shop Crypto, how do I use this? Well, if you want to, you can always send me that question directly by going to TradingView and send me a message at Coffee Shop Crypto, just like that, right? Or you can continue watching this video and just, be the student. All right, so here's what happens, basically. You see that the RSI is in an uptrend and your price is in an uptrend. You get a break below your trend line and you get a break below your RSI. It closes right there and you get a trend line, but you do not enter short yet. You need a confirmation. So far, you already have two lower highs. The trend line is there. And you have a lower low. You have one lower low. You have one lower low. That's this one. You need a second lower low. It works best when you have the RSI actually following the trend line, like they're stuck inside of each other. If I turn off the RSI, you're going to see the trend line is right in there. It's like stuck to the RSI, okay? And I don't know if I could zoom in and see it, but either way, it's there. This line is the RSI and the trend line. So you get the trend line giving you two lows exactly next to each other. You get a break and a new low. That means that this point, you can enter a short trade on the close of that candle, okay? Because this is your new low. Find your swing high, whatever you want to do, go 1 to 1.5 or whatever your risk reward is. Technically, I would target that previous swing low. I always like doing that. There you go. Target your previous swing low and you get out of your trade over here, right? There's the exit of your trade. Nothing hits your stop loss. Now, I understand very well. I can see what's happening on a chart, so can you. So I can already not really predict what's going on. I can see what's going on. But I want you to understand how this plays out. And then I will show you a ranging market, how you can catch that one. So then you have already drawn your trend line. You got a high here and a high here. You drew your trend line. You find the trend line break, which is right there, okay? That's the candle that breaks your trend line right there. And lo and behold, what happened? Look at the RSI. Okay, the RSI is down below zero. It's moving up. It gets this new trend line, right? You got a high, and then you got another high. The trend line was drawn, and then immediately the RSI is stuck to that line in the next candle at the same time that you broke your trend line. Here is your uptrend. Okay. Now, since this is not a close above a previous high, I'm only going to target a previous swing. Okay. And by previous swing, I mean like this. I didn't want to get into the whole technical analysis to show you like how to find your targets and stuff like that, but I'm going to do that real quick, right? So you enter here. I'm looking at the RSI value here, whatever this value is. I want to find the swing high that's higher than this RSI value. So this RSI is 136. This RSI is 212. So that means I want to trade from this price to this price. What is that price? That's my first take profit. And that goes from here, right? Right there. And I'm going to end at that swing high. That's the same price. That's going to be my first target. If I close above that, I'm going to look at the next swing high higher than this. It's right here. If you close above the high of this candle, you target the next swing high. So that's going to be this one. Okay. So now I'm moving my take profit again to where am I pointing here? This one right here. So now my take profit goes to here. And this candle closes above it. So look at the next swing high. It's over here. That swing high is this one. I'm already above it. Look at the next high one on price. Here's a high, but it's lower than the RSI. Here's a higher RSI. It's this one. Nope. Still need to go higher. It's this one. Okay. So now I can move to that swing high right there. And that gets me a little bit more of the move. So you can actually walk all the way up. There you go. Now, you can do that, or you can simply watch your RSI and how it's playing out. So this was your move for the long trade right here. You can also use the RSI formula, right? Swing lows right there. RSI value is 136, which is a 1 to 2.13, right? But since we're going against the trend, it's a 1 to 1.13. I would go right here, 1 to 1.13. You break above it and then add another one, 2.13. 2.13. There you go. So that ends up getting you way up there. And that's how you walk your RSI values up. You add one, add one, add one, and that's it. You keep your same swing low, okay? Now, you're in an uptrend, okay? Candle breaks below your trend line, and you've already had a new low right here. So this must be some little manipulation. I must have the wrong low set here. Yes, actually I do. This is the low that I need. I need this low here. And here's a low on the RSI right there. I'm going to kind of squeeze this in there. My first break below it, this doesn't close below. This closes below. I don't have a trend line down. I don't have a cut of the RSI. This closes below, right? This one closes below my trend line. And look at the RSI. I get a new trend line. And then the RSI follows that line down. So I should be able to now take a short trade at that point. From here, right, to the swing high. Let's try the RSI formula, right? Or you can go to the previous swing low, which is right there. See the swing low? I'm going to take that swing low right there. And that gets me out of the trade right there. See? Right there. So we're 13 minutes in, and I still haven't gotten to the part where I'm showing you the ranging part, right? So I just kind of cut the chart right here. When your price is ranging, I cut the chart intentionally here. I don't really want to show you the moving averages because they're irrelevant. I know that price is ranging. I want to show you this looking at the RSI. Now, this is going to be your secondary confirmation. When you have your trend lines drawn, you want to break a trend line and find a break of that RSI trend line as well, okay? So the reason I don't have the moving averages here is because I know price is ranging. The trends are irrelevant. The trend line is going to be all over the place, right? You see, I'm going across the highs there, but then I go across these lows over here, and it's kind of doing this. So it's really narrow, right? So I'm going to get rid of this and get rid of this and show you how to do it just with the RSI. Let's go. By the way, hey, there's my name. Go ahead, shoot me a message. All right. So where are we now? I have a new low on my RSI. but I don't have another low that it's attached to. I don't have one. I don't have any highs. So let's skip forward. Okay. There's a low. It's attached to it, right? Now, trading ranges is really, really delicate. You only want to go for your pips at this point. Okay. You can target your previous swing lows, but they're going to be really small moves. It's a swing low right there. Here's another swing low right here. Let's target that one. Here's my swing high right there. And again, range trading is really, really delicate. I'm doing it on a 5-minute, but you can actually do this on a 1 minute. When you're in a range, you can trade your range from the 5-minute to the 1 minute. Okay, I'm still here. There's my swing low. Like I said, it's really, really delicate, the moves. You want to find that really small move. And I'm doing it by finding the trend line change of the RSI. Okay, let's see if this plays out. Boom. Oh, I lost it. I lost that one. Not going to lie, I lost that trade. Trading ranges is very, very delicate. Okay. You can only just like trade to your previous swing lows or really just get into your, just get a number of pips out of it. And I wanted to show you this on purpose. Okay. Because it can be very, very hard to do these range trades because you need to have highs, right? You got to have that. You need to have lows, and there's just nothing consistent about ranges. So I would avoid range trading with this. Okay. Stick to the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, or what have you. And really just stick to when your moving averages are not on top of each other, when they're not all jumbled up and messed up. Okay, see how tight they are right here? You don't want to do this in a range trade. Okay, you always want to do this when your moving averages are spread out, far apart enough from each other, and you can get actual trend lines drawn on your chart. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty much it. And just to give you a better visual, like I'm saying, I know this is the range, but I want you to see, what exactly you're looking for, right? Your RSI is coming down. You want to see this nice angle push up. Okay, you want to see this push up. Okay, when the RSI is in a downtrend, you want to find a nice angle coming up that you want to break that level. If you don't get 2 consecutive candles like you get here, and you only get 1 candle after a trend line going up, you simply have to find an RSI value that closes below that value, right? Has to be lower than that. So this candle is lower. You should be able to enter a short trade right at this point and just go down just a little bit right there, right? Like for example, here you got a downtrend. The RSI is not necessarily in an uptrend. So you got a low, a lower low, highs and lower highs. Just because you got a higher low here does not mean you have an uptrend. You still have lower lows. You need a higher high, okay? Here you have a low and a higher low, and you do not have a higher high yet until you get here. So this is where you take your uptrend. You'll catch a few pips going up, and that's where price moves up just a little bit, okay? So then again here, RSI is in a downtrend, right? Makes a low. It's in a downtrend, makes a low, but you don't have a higher low. You don't have one yet. Now you've got a higher low, right? So again, attempting this in a range trade, right? And you're getting into the close of this candle right here. Does price move up? Price moves, again, sideways. It's really, really hard doing this in ranges, okay? And again, I'm looking at 5 minute. You can do this down into 1 minute if you're in ranges, whatever works for you, okay? And so yes, price did effectively start making a little uptrend right here, okay? And that's it. Hope that works for you guys. I did this because there's a number of you saying that you're having trouble getting your RSI values done right. You see that just because your RSI breaks below 0 doesn't mean, like you see it breaks below 0 right here. That doesn't mean that you make a short trade, okay? It does not mean that. You need to have lower lows consecutively, lower highs as well, okay? So this should help you in your visual effect with the RSI. Any questions, leave it in the comments. Send me a message over to Coffee Shop Crypto, and let's get into some.